Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning, Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. But again, most of all, good morning to the world. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope you had a good weekend. Well, I had a very difficult weekend, but a productive weekend to some extent, and an unproductive one to some extent, depending on how you look at it. Anyhow, folks, I'm glad that you're here this morning. We are going to have a great show for you today. We have a lot to cover, but before we get there, we must pass the baton to our geniuses who keep us on air in the control room. Good morning, El Senor Howard, and good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Egberto. Howard's taking the day off and getting some well-deserved rest. He's the shoulders that everything seems to fall on at KPFT.
Tell me about it. Everything. I mean, it's great. I'm glad that he took one off. But he left the entire station in competent hands. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing well this morning, Egberto.
Now, do you have a word of wisdom, a kind word for our audience at large?
Yeah, I scratched up one this morning. It's Monday morning. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon. Start your week with an open mind, a hopeful heart, and lots of patience and tolerance to deal kindly with the people in your life.
I like that. Deal kindly with the people in your life. And you know what's interesting, Jack? A lot of times what you give is what you get, right? In other words, if you I've called folks on the phone. I'm talking about, to get service for something, and just your tone can determine how that entire transaction is going to take place. Just being kind sometimes is all these folks want to hear, because so often they hear so much of the bad vibes coming from the community at large, who has bad vibes because of much of what's occurring in our society today. So kudos on that. And I read you well, my brother. I read you well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're in pledge drive, of course. We call it a fun drive. Anyway, we're partnering with the Houston Center for Independent Living, and we're giving for every $1,000 raised during this fall fund drive, we're donating a parka for underprivileged people, and that's the way we give back to our community. Just one of the ways, besides the music and the talk, and the 713-526-5738, option 1 to donate, option 2 to be on the air.
Excellent. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. But folks, we have a great shows for you today. As you know, even as we are in fund drive, we try our utter best to give you a full show. And that is exactly what we're going to do. The title of the show is Blame the Rich for the Deficit. Second topic, Big Pharma attacks again. And of course, Jordan's third embarrassing defeat. So, we're going to talk about those, but we're going to talk about anything you want to talk about as well, because as you know, this program is your program. So we ask you to give us a call at 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. We'd like you to not wait till the end of the program to call, because again, too often when that's done, we kind of have to try to get you off the call quicker or get to somebody else quicker. We want to give you your due time. This is your show. Please remember that this will always be your show. We already have a call. Let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny, the mayor of Politics Done Right.
Mayor McKees, if you please. I've got a kind word to dovetail with what Magic Jack opened with a moment ago.
Yes, sir.
So Tom Hartman can have his Fridays. He can talk about pets to get away from all the bad news that we deal with, which I think is therapeutic. I agree with you, also the sentiments you expressed. And so I'd like to share some good news with you today, which I forgot to do early last week, or maybe the tail end of the week before. I think I made a breakthrough with one of my crazy right-wing neighbors who's a Trump supporter no matter what. The way he looked at me for the first time, the body language changed when he actually was listening to what I was saying. And I think I hit upon a magic recipe. I shared with him my usual pre-recorded, I say pre-recorded because I say it so many times I could repeat it backwards in my head. What I tell these Republican and I say centrist Democrats in Washington, D.C. when I call their voicemail or I talk to their staff. And so I launched into that. And then I dovetailed that with the bottom pocket, the bottom line issues for Americans, which is their pocketbook. He likes to tell me how his retirement, his investments are going so great because of Trump. And I can't dispute that because that's anecdotal evidence, which I can't dispute. So every time he does that, I just go past that. Well, this time I decided to preempt his telling me that. And I shared with him some basic economic stuff that he could resonate with, like welfare payments to Republicans and Democrats in Washington, that PPP loan money. And I cited that $300,000 or $188,000, or maybe it was $388,000. I don't know anymore. I can't keep track of all these monies for Marjorie Taylor Greene and a whole bunch of other Republicans, and how that's welfare money, because they love thinking in those terms, because it is welfare money when you think about it.
Right.
That PPP loan money they never paid back. And why do they need that? They're all independently wealthy now. Why do they need that money? And when are they going to pay it back? And so when I did it that way, I had him. So that's good news. Now he's starting to listen a little bit more to what I'm saying. And I was able to use a cuss word with regards to Donald Trump and the Republicans, and he didn't come back like he normally does. So that's progress. Good news.
Actually, once you gain that is, actually, believe it or not, I talk a whole lot about that in my book, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative Friends and Neighbors, and that I tell people the most important part about talking to anybody, and especially talking to somebody on the right, is to earn their trust. And you notice what I said? I didn't say get them to trust you. I say earn their trust. And earning their trust means get into that place where they agree with you on something, because it's both of you agree on the same thing. So they see that you're not an alien. It's like that woman looking at me and saying, but you're so nice, after she agrees with me on several issues before she figures out that I'm pretty much on the very left side of the spectrum. And again, it turns out that most people are very much on the left side of the spectrum, just they don't generally admit it. Right, exactly. And and the thing about it is to earn trust with humility, and earning someone's trust with humility is always powerful, because then you can have a conversation. It doesn't mean that they're going to agree with everything that you say. It just means that they understand that you respect them, and they can pull their guards down and allow themselves to critically think about the issues. And that's what you did there. That is exactly what you did there by catching him at a time when he was willing to listen about Marjorie Taylor and others, taking away his tax dollars. And that's it. Go ahead.
And you know what he said to me?
What he said?
As he was walking back to his house, because I was walking the dog at the time. That's when the opportunities come, when I'm walking the dog and I see him out with his battery-powered blower.
Yeah.
Which that's okay with him. He says to me, "Are you sure you're not a Republican?"
You see? And that's fine. I don't mind that. In other words, whenever, if somebody takes your concept and republicanize your concept, that is okay as well. It was like the guy in one of the stories in the book that I talk about, where the person, I'm talking to this person at a Starbucks, and he doesn't like immigration, and he thinks, he talks about all these issues. And I went in and I told him about 4 points, and I said, don't believe me. Please don't listen to me. Please just research it on your own. Please do that. And he went home, and I guess a few weeks or days, I don't remember how long. Later on, he comes back to the Starbucks, slapped me on the back, and says, "You're gonna like what I have to say." I listened, and he said, "I am for immigration." That's what he told me. The guy that was pretty much anti-immigration. And to kind of cauterize it, I said, "Wow." He said, "But I want to do it the Republican way." I said, "Fine, that's fine. It's just, we have common ground. We are for understanding that the country needs a hell of a lot more people with a hell of a lot different skills. Come on in." And he said, "But I want to do it the Republican way." And I told him, "Okay, write a blog. I'll post it under a pseudonym." He said, "Nah, nah, nah. I'll write the blog and post it under my name." I said, "Fine." And he did. And, so, that is where the communication is all about. And I think we ought to talk to all sides, Johnny. And I don't think I demonize politicians. I don't demonize my Republican brothers and sisters, because the politicians are the one who have caused the problem, along with the corporatocracy. Go ahead, my friend.
It gets better. I also demonize politicians, not individual Republicans. I also do the same thing. I've always
done that.
Anyway, it gets better. Then he says to me,
go ahead.
And he says, then it gets better. Then he says to me, "Maybe you should run for office."
There you go.
I can't figure out these mosquitoes, but now I'm finally breaking through to him. Mosquitoes, you're next.
Good job, Johnny. Thank you so kindly for that call. I think that's a good start for the program, Mr. Mayor. All right, let's go ahead, and I want to welcome Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain, one of our dedicated chat room participants. Thank you so kindly for being there. Don't forget, folks, you can give us a call at 713-526-5738. Before I get into the program, which I'm about to, I love the way Johnny started the program. It starts with camaraderie. Anyhow, folks, we are in fund drive mode. As I've told you every day that we've been in this mode, I have to raise $5,000. We're not even half there yet. So I need to ask you so kindly to give us a call at 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Hit extension number 1 to contribute. There are great offers for you to provide to our station. That is, you can get the Politics Done Right T-shirt. I'll be honored that. In fact, the other day I saw somebody with a T-shirt, and I just melted. It was just amazing. Anyhow, please go ahead and consider getting a T-shirt. I think it's $100 contribution. Of course, you can pay for that over time. You can also contribute $5 a month if you so desire. We are looking for people who will be sustainers. That means we know that we have a steady income stream from the people who support the station on a monthly basis. So can you give $5 a month, which is about a coffee a month to KPFT? Can you give 2 coffees a month, $10 a month? Can you give 3 coffees a month, $15 a month? Can you give 4 coffees a month? $20 a month. And if you can give 5 coffees a month, $25 a month, you get a brick. In other words, a brick in your name that is in front of our studio that shows people here is a sustainer to our programming, to what we do here. So again, anything that you can offer, a one-time contribution is absolutely appreciated. Sustaining contributions are absolutely appreciated. Again, give us a call at 713-526-5738. Please be sure to let the person know that this is in the name of Politics Done Right. None of the money comes to Politics Done Right. It goes all to the station. Likewise, please go ahead and or you can also go to kpft.org. kpft.org. Hit the donate button and go ahead and select the gift that you want. Select the amount that you're going to provide to the station. And also, please remember to select Politics Done Right as the program you are contributing for. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Please go ahead and hit the number 1 and donate if you have the wherewithal to do so. We really need those, and Politics Done Right does need to raise on average $300 a day. But since for the duration of our show, but we haven't made that, which has that number a bit higher, somewhere around 350 now, because we're lagging. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate, extension number 2 to be on air. If we have a person that is of high means, please also feel free to retire the entire Politics Done Right support by, maybe you want to just say, I'm going to give Politics Done Right $2,500. I can afford it. And I love the program. I want to keep it on air. And I want him to do more talking about the subject than pitching. You have $2,500, you have $1,000 or whatever. Feel free to donate that in the name of Politics Done Right. I can tell you one thing, it would be a good money's well spent. We are frugal with your money at KPFT. I promise you that there's only one paid employee at KPFT. All others are volunteers, including yours truly, myself. We are volunteers. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes and Alistair Waters as well. Eric Hayes says McDonald's pricing or Starbucks pricing for the coffee. Whichever one is closer to $5, Eric, is what I'm talking about, is what we're talking about. Anyway, folks, before I get into specifically the drug part of the story, given that we are approaching the sign up, or we are in the sign up for Medicare, for all of those people, when you're seeking Medicare, I want to implore you, unless you are in dire straits and just cannot afford to, please, folks, stick with traditional Medicare. It may save your life. You've heard many stories of people calling into our program with their stories and the tribulations they've had by going to Medicare Part C, which is not Medicare. It is Medicare Advantage, right? And Medicare Advantage is private insurance with all the ills that come with private insurance. I know I'm being repetitious for those who listen to us every day, but please remember, there are people passing in the cars. People are driving in the cars that are passing along our station. I want them to hear this. Medicare Part C or Medicare Advantage isn't real Medicare. It is private insurance that's paid for by Medicare. And in the process, they deny you coverage. You have to fight hard for coverage. If you leave your state, if you leave your city, if you leave the country, you have to pay out of network charges for your service. You end up the money that you save in Medicare Advantage, for those that save with Medicare Advantage, you likely pay back in co-pays and in uncovered procedures, uncovered medicine. So please don't fall for what those salespeople are going to tell you. If at all possible, do not get Medicare Part C, Medicare Advantage, because it is damaging. And I would love for any person selling Medicare Advantage right now, the companies that deal in Medicare Advantage, I would like to invite any of you to come onto my program live. Let's discuss exactly what you are providing to your customer with Medicare Advantage, as opposed to having them stick with Medicare, standard Medicare, with a supplemental that pays the 20% that Medicare does not pay, and the drug expenses for your drugs. Friends, I personally, I have nothing in the game. I don't qualify for Medicare right now quite yet. But what I can tell you is, when I do qualify, I will not be going for Medicare Advantage, because I understand the scam that it is. It is so scammy that you find that every other ad you see on TV around this time is a Medicare Advantage. And I think the government should sue them for calling what they're selling Medicare. It is a private insurance being racketeered onto you, and in the process putting your life in danger, because their main goal is profit, not giving you health care. Again, I repeat, their main goal is profit and not providing you with good health care to heal you or to save your life. Absolutely anybody, any salesperson, any company who wants to refute what I'm saying, we have an audience. Please give us a call at 713-526-5738. Let's discuss it. I've had people send me personal emails saying, Egberto, I have Medicare Advantage. And not all of them are bad. To which I say, all of them by default will eventually become bad. And why will they eventually become bad? Because as their customers age, and that plan doesn't bring in more healthy people, they will continue to cut services to ensure the executives will get their bonuses and to ensure that the shareholders make money. That's the sole purpose of Medicare Advantage, to make money for the shareholders and the executive bonuses. This is not a question. If any of them want to call right now into the show, we can discuss it on air with the pertinent questions so that our listeners can actually hear what this is all about. All right. Continuing with the private sector within healthcare. For shame, Pfizer to charge $1,390 for the life-saving COVID drug that cost just $13 to manufacture. Here's the deal. You guys have heard of it's called, let me get the name correct because I always say it wrong. Remdesivir. Remdesivir is a drug that supposedly reduces the death rates and how long you take to recover from COVID. Great, it's out there. The interesting thing about it is many studies show that it's not optimum, that its results are marginal at best, meaning it may help some, it may not help many. All right? Now, as an engineer, if I build something, and I'm a mechanical engineer, but most of the stuff I did in software engineering. If I wrote a piece of code that works sometimes, but under certain conditions it doesn't, the person who buys that piece of code that I sell would either sue me or throw me out the door. They wouldn't even use the product. Let's even go better. The software that I developed worked on airplanes to test airplane avionics. One of the softwares, ComDRV. And if it were not a reliable piece of software, but it works some of the times, but I also knew at what times it doesn't work, I may still be able to sell that product because given that we know when it works, but when it doesn't work, we know why, and we can tell when it doesn't work. You can probably sell it at a reduced price because it's still better than not having any test altogether, right? Well, that's how I look at remdesivir. I look at it as a drug that it's probably worth having, but altogether, it doesn't really, it's not the 100% got you to fix the problem in healthcare. That's one of the things I hate with private healthcare, right? An engineer has to be right to get paid, right? But drugs don't. Drugs, they can kill you. A doctor can use equipment that kills you because it was mal-designed. And yet, to some extent, you can sue to some extent, but most of the times, it's not something that's provable, right? Because in the healthcare industry and your life, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but that's just how life is. Well, remdesivir is one of those drugs that, according to the literature, and I'm looking at one from Science, that says many various studies that have come out that says either it doesn't work or it's marginal at best. But the guys who synthesize the drug. And notice I said synthesize the drug. They have the patent for synthesizing the drug, meaning coming out for the procedure to mass produce the drug. They can produce this drug for $13, a dosage for the 5 doses that you have to have. They can do it for $13. The government bought a ton load of this product during the COVID pandemic. Not only did they buy a ton load of product to likely recover any possible development costs these companies make, Pfizer, but these development costs, really, I call them marketing costs. All right. So they paid a ton of money for that. Moreover, the disease control CDC, as well as the different health organizations, they paid to test the drug, to speed the drug up, all of that. Center for Disease Control, what is the other health agency? All of these guys invested in speeding up this drug's delivery to people, getting it emergency status, etc. None of them are going to make any profits on this, but Pfizer, they want to charge you $1,390 for a treatment. So, Brett Wilkins writes, U.S. consumer watchdog Public Citizen on Thursday excoriated Pfizer after the pharmaceutical giant announced it would more than double the price of life-saving COVID-19 treatment, which will soon sell for an estimated 100 times the cost of production. Pfizer said Wednesday that it will price its patented COVID treatment, ritonavir, nirmatrelvir, which is what the official name, sold under the brand name Paxlovid, at $1,390 for a 5-day course. Researchers Melissa J. Barber and DeSantis Gautam recently estimated it costs Pfizer $13 to produce 5 days worth of the drug, which is taken in 3 pill doses. Pfizer's new price is an estimated 100 times the cost of production. Peter May Barduck, director of Public Citizens Access to Medicines program, said in a statement, Pfizer chose to double its U.S. price just as the pandemic funding falters and the precarious winter viral season begins. So what did they do? They sold the drug at half that price to the government when it was mass producing it for everybody. Now that COVID is not the big problem it is, a lot of people just let COVID take its course. Right now I have a cousin, an aunt, and an uncle that are going through COVID, and they're just letting it pass, right? So now they increase the drug. It also is more than 2.5 times the federal government's purchase price for Paxlovid. 2.5 times the purchase price. Now, that is because, of course, the government is no longer going to be buying the drug in bulk like it did before. So now they're going to stick you with the bill to ensure that the executives get their bonuses and the shareholders get their money. Whatever happened to risk again? So again, folks, that is what a for-profit healthcare system brings to you. And whenever people talk about, if we don't have it this way, if we don't have a healthcare system that pilfers you and me, that takes your money away from you and me to pass it along to executives and shareholders, that somehow innovation is going to stop and somehow we're going to stop getting these great drugs. It's false. Let's get something clear. Scientists, professors, engineers develop these drugs. They don't do it for bonuses. They don't do it for exec type pay. They don't do it for shareholder value, etc. They do it because that's what they do. Researchers research and they get a salary for doing what they love to do, researching. The same applies to engineering. Folks just do it because they love it. Teachers teach because they love to teach. They're the bastions of our society. Because of teachers, we can get drugs that heals. Teachers, professors, those are the bastions of our society. They do not make the obscene profits that are made by execs and shareholders for doing absolutely nothing other than quote unquote managing and marketing. M&M, managing and marketing. And we as a society then feel it's okay whenever for them to do that and for them to attack those of us who are trying to say, wait a minute, we don't need y'all to get good drugs on the market. After all, our government did a great job in funding all these private research and governmental research to get drugs developed. We have a lot of scientists out there that love what they're doing. They love to produce. They love to use their intellect to do something positive for society. It's not that they're doing it for absolute profit. Yes, they want to pay their bills. They want to be able to get a car. They want to do things. That's what you work for. But as far as the obscene profit on work you haven't done, that is what our economic system is predicated on. Working on the backs of others. Ask the developer of any one of the drugs that you use today, what was their profit in developing that drug with their intellect? So then, if it's a manager, if it's the exec, and all these guys who profit from these drugs developed by others, and others develop these drugs just for their salaries, the critical thinking question would be, I can understand that is a lie when corporations advertise that if we don't charge these insane, obscene prices for drugs and healthcare, that somehow innovation would disappear. When they, the ones who are profiting, they, the ones who are causing these prices to be high, are not the ones developing, are not the ones inventing, are not the ones using their intellect to produce anything. Critical thinking. Do you understand why many on the right, why many centrists, why many moderates in government, in positions of leadership, don't want you to critically think? Who don't want you to start reading materials, to start burning books that goes against the status quo? Do you wonder why? It's because as you start to critically think, the Powell memo says progressives are moving the country to get too smart. They didn't say it in those words. I'm paraphrasing. The Powell memo in the early 70s, late 60s, I believe, written by Lewis Powell. Folks, we do this to try to inform. And I would love anyone who wants to refute what we're saying here, please call it and make your case. We're loving here. We love the discussion. We love the talk. We love to really have the critical type of conversation to get us to the place where we can start to do what's right for us all. Your thoughts, 713-526-5738. I'm taking calls now, 713-526-5738. As we wait for a few calls, I ask you so kindly as well to contribute to our program by going to kpft.org, kpft.org. Please contribute whatever you can to support the station. We are here only. Politics Done Right is here in KPFT, just to tell the truth. Tell it like it is. Not sugarcoat it, not to be anything but one who is here to be truthful and then ask you to make up your minds. 713-526-5738. Extension number 2 if you want to be on air right away. Extension number 1 to contribute. Please contribute in the name of Politics Done Right. your various contributions that we have. I don't know if Jack has anything he wants to say before I move on or before calls start to come in, but give us a call at 713-526-5738. Jack, would you like to chime in either on our... Go ahead.
Yeah, we have lots of swag for our contributors. Here's some of the musical stuff we have. Larry Winter's Celebration of Life event and the 2022 Art Car Parade on DVD for a $150 donation. The Best of Spare Change flash drive for a $150 donation. That's 23 plus hours of Larry Winters at his tribute show. We have the Picker Poets from 1985, a 3 CD set or thumb drive with the legendary Guy Clark, Towns Van Zandt, Jerry Jeff Walker, Mickey Newberry, K.T. Oslin, and Rodney Crowell. We have T-shirts. The Fall Fun Drive T-shirt is a pumpkin with headphones. Pretty cool looking. I think that's $100 donation. We have concerts, all kind of concerts, and when you call in and hit option 1, the operator will run you through the concerts and all the gifts. So, let's move some money. We need some Gitas. We need some dollars. We need some bucks.
Thank you so kindly, Jack. Folks, so give us a call, 713-526-5738. I'm right now at a big donut, meaning nobody has contributed thus far. Please give us a call at 713-526-5738. Please go ahead the number 1 to donate or go to kpft.org, kpft.org, contribute whatever you can. We also have sustaining memberships, which means you can give $5 a month, which is equivalent to a coffee a month, $10 a month, 2 coffees a month, $15 a month, 3 coffees a month. But please support us however you can. 713-526-5738, extension 1 to contribute, extension 2 to be on air. If you want to be on air, please call now because, again, we don't want to be rushing you off the air. So if you want to call and make a comment, please go ahead or ask a question or whatever you want to call for. Give us a call at 713-526-5738. We are here to receive it. Hit extension 2 to be on air, extension 1 to contribute. You can contribute at kpft.org. Whichever one you choose, please remember to say it's in the name of Politics Done Right. Let's go to Donald. Come on in, Donald. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How about you, Roberto?
I am doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
Okay. You need to think about stuff more like a cowboy or a farmer or an old person.
Yes.
Because see, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead a man to knowledge and teach him, but you can't make him think. He has to do that on his own.
Right. You're absolutely right. But go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. But also, I believe as human beings, we ought to be empathetic. And I do know that sometimes the horse won't drink because, one, the horse is scared of drinking the water. The horse is stubborn, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of times when you can wait for that horse to really be at that point when it has no choice or when the choice become evident and you're there to help that horse at that time that it's willing to take that help. And that's the way I look at it. You know, some people tell me, just forget about this group of people or whatever. And the way I think, the way I feel, the way, part of my ethos is I give up on absolutely nobody, my brother Donald. I give up on absolutely nobody.
You're absolutely right. And the white stuff on chicken poop is chicken poop too. What I'm leading to is I'm going to ask you now, the Democratic nomination, they nominated somebody for Congress or whatever, correct? For the speaker position.
Yes.
Why don't they just nominate the Republican that they want? Make sure they secure at least a certain amount of votes. Do it not underhanded, but just show them that, okay, this is the one we want. They're going to get 30 plus votes. We're going to put this back on you. Now, if it fails, it is on you, Mr. Republican.
Well, let me just, you're, first of all, you're correct. But let me just say, based on the history of Congress, the failure of the majority party to elect a speaker who will be of that party is due entirely to that party. In other words, Democrats should try their best to elect a Democratic Speaker of the House. They don't have the votes, but it's easily said that you can easily get 5 Republican votes to come and vote for somebody who has 212 than to get 20 Republican votes when they don't, when the people that they're selecting can only get 195. If the persons they're only selecting can only get 195 votes, it seems to me it's easier for others to cross over to the Democratic side because they are from Democratic leaning districts than it is from the other side. So, I mean, what I'd like, Donald, is for the media to not give any indication that Democrats have anything to do with the inability of the House to pick a speaker. Now, after we've gone through the machinations, the Democrats can say, we will, because of our country, for the sake of our country, this is what we're willing to do. But like you just said, go ahead.
Sometimes you got to do it ahead of time. You got to be the one that has the cojones, whatever you want to say, to stand up in front of all of them and say, okay, yes, I know everybody would love to have the Republicans would love to have their speaker. And then the Democrats, they nominated the one guy. But why not just cut all the BS out and go straight over there and go, okay, I've got 50 people, even if it's a bluff. I've got 50 people on Democratic side. We're nominating Republican Joe whatever. And we're going to put it right in your face and show you.
They could do that. They could do that. What I want
to make it stop all this, and they would look like the bigger person.
That is the issue that I want to point to you, right? And that is what you just said is a very important thing. They would look like the big boys. They would look like the responsible ones. And you're correct. The thing about it is that's why I think we have to feel some pain before that occurs. America has to be able to see that the Democrats in Congress are the adults, right? And the only way for them to see that they're adults is for Republicans to at first fail to be able to do something and for Americans to be able to see them fail. Because Americans don't see them fail, they'll go out and act as if this is just how things work. And it is important for America to realize that currently, the current Republican Party is a clear and present danger to the country. And when I say that, I don't say that haphazardly. They are a clear and present danger to the country, just like I think many of I'm not going to go into the war, but we better be careful with what we're doing with this war as well, because some folks that you will,
they could win. I know they could do it. They could go 150 for the nomination that they want and show the America, but show them. Because if you show them right now, you're going to get the votes next time. I'm guaranteeing you, because we're all tired of it. Republican, Democrat, whatever. You step it up. You show them how it works and say, we have the greatest country in the world. We have a democracy. You people are not going to hold us hostage. We're going to give up a little, but watch what we take.
Brother, I appreciate the call.
You know how all right, man.
Donna, you keep up the good works, man. Appreciate you calling and appreciate your input always. Paul Fleming.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Paul Fleming, Sr. from Atlanta, Georgia, is in the house. Likewise is Valvis BTW in the house. Welcome aboard. Eric Hayes is in the house. Welcome aboard. Melanie Keelan and Alistair Waters. We have great conversation occurring on the chat right now. Thank you guys for all being here. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I had a piece to play you on and just what Donald was talking about, but I'll just leave that for you to watch it on your own at your own convenience, because we have better time speaking to you right here. 713-526-5738. Hit extension number 2 to be on air. If you want to be on air, please come on air now, because don't want to shortchange you or shortchange others when we all pile up at the end of the program. So please give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 2 to speak on the air, extension number 1 to contribute. Folks, we need to get some contributors calling into the program right now. Please call 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute. We cannot do this without you in the least, so we still don't have any contributors yet for the morning. So please go ahead and give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft, kpft.org, kpft.org, and hit that donate button. Select your how much you want to contribute to the station. Select the program you're contributing about. That's Politics Done Right. And then select the gift that you want to for us to give you, if you do want to give. And we have several to offer. You can become a sustaining member. That is by any amount, but you can say, I want to give $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month, whatever you can. That is the membership we'd like to get a whole lot of as well. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, or go to kpft.org, kpft.org, and select the amount you want to provide. We are currently behind the curveball on contributions for this morning. So I ask you so kindly, let's make sure that we stay on air. Let's make sure that we are able to continue to provide you with the critical information that we do on this program. We cannot do this without you. This is your station. As you can see, we even hold back on whatever it is I prepare the night before, so that you take priority on the program. You can go ahead for the subjects that we didn't cover, that we had selected to cover for today. You can always go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, and you have all the links to the subjects that we intended to carry on the program today. Let's go to ROV on line 1. Come on in, ROV. Welcome to Politics Done Right.
Yeah, let's not to change the subject. This is Rob. I'm a sustaining member for this show.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you so kindly, sir.
Awesome. I love it. I wanted to talk about the Coffee County elections where they downloaded all of the voter rolls and they're still awaiting trial. Like when other people vote by accident because they had a felony, they got 5 years prison. I wonder what's the penalty for these people eventually for tampering with the voting rolls and downloading all the records of the Republican officer.
Oh, I don't know what the penalty is for doing that. But which county are we talking about, sir?
It was Coffee County. It was a very rural Republican county. It was
in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but whatever the case is, it's interesting that these two guys, what's her name, that she only got a misdemeanor charge for being a part of that conspiracy. I find it astounding. So she must have quite a bit of information that she's providing to the government that they let her off that easy, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know what it is, first of all. I don't know what the penalties are, but I'm pretty sure it was a felony.
Yeah, because I think they took a plea deal to just give more info. But
right.
Just asymmetric, or just weird.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. It's an asymmetric ruling. Absolutely so. Right. Very few people get that ability. But in America, there are two justice systems: one for people who have, and one for people who don't. That's it. American justice system. Anything else, Ravi?
No, that's it. Keep it up.
Thank you so kindly, and thank you for being a great supporter, Ravi. Folks, give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension 1 to support the program. Let's go to Harry. Come on in, Harry.
Good morning, Alberto. I trust you had a good weekend.
Yes, I had an eventful weekend.
Good. I hope family's doing well. And I'll chime in on Medicare disadvantage again. This is why you listen to Roberto Willis. This is why you listen to Ralph Nader. This is why you listen to Arnie Arnesen, Bernie Sanders, all these people, and Tom Hartman, who talk about this sort of thing, because they don't want the public who is not wealthy to be tricked into buying this private insurance, as Jack Van Dever talked about last week. When you talked about this last week, you mentioned private health insurance that was created by George Bush and those Republicans, because they want to destroy Medicare, they want to destroy Medicaid, they want it to be the only insurance in town, and if you're wealthy, that's fine, and you're a shareholder of Medicare Disadvantage, then great. And as you pointed out, if you can pay for it, fine, but a lot of people can't pay for it, and they get tricked into it. And that's why you want to stay away from that. If you are a senior, you want Medicare and you want Medicap, as you pointed out, Roberto, and you just continue. We got to keep educating the public so people will critically think, and they will read up on Medicare Disadvantage and not be duped. As my brother would say, if he were on this call right now, with Medicare Advantage, if you can't afford to pay, you can't afford to stay alive. Because when you get to a situation where, well, you've seen these different doctors, we're not going to pay for that. Now you're stuck with the bill and you're stuck. And that's what they want, because they want that to be the only Medicare or the only private insurance that you have. It's kind of like that old Flintstones cartoon with I'm the only caterer in town. Squeeze out the competition.
The item is, if you're sick, die quickly. That was made a national story by my good friend, the what's his name? I don't know why I always forget his name, but he comes out and he says straight up, they want you to die quickly. Representative, I'll remember his name as the show goes on. Say that again.
Socialized medicine, as Ronald Reagan said when he was in office. Socialized medicine is a disaster. They don't want that. They don't want the taxpayers to benefit, and they don't from that, and government be your friend. They want to rip you off, and if you can't afford to pay their premiums so that their shareholders stock will go up, and buy back stock when they see people buying this.
All right, Harry, you're absolutely right. We're running out of time, and I got to jump to Daniel Garza. So thank you as usual for calling, brother.
Have a good rest of the day, and keep up educating the public.
Thank you, my brother. All right, let's go to Daniel Garza. Come on in, Daniel.
How you doing, Albert? Daniel Garcia here. I am a union member, Local 31, International Union of Elevator Constructors. I just wanted to say thank you for your all your education that you bring us, and I will be contributing to you guys here shortly. And I do appreciate listening to you guys every morning.
Look, Daniel, I appreciate that. I ask you kindly remember to select Politics and Right as the program you're supporting. That way, people know that we are reaching the particular audience. So I thank you so kindly for your kudos. And by the way, you said union member. Let me tell you, you guys are my heroes. Let's keep that strong and let's keep that going, Daniel, because without what you do, the worker has no option. So thank you kindly, sir.
Yes, sir. 25 years. Absolutely. I'll talk to you again, Alberto. Thank you so much.
Have a good one, Daniel. Bye-bye. All right, let's go to line two. Line two, come on in, and I'll ask your name on air because we're running out of time. Come on in, line two.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. Who am I talking to?
My name is Harry.
Harry, talk to me.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. I need some information and clarification from our good buddy Egberto.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
It is concerning Medicare coverage.
Yes.
Hang on here. Okay. So Medicare Parts A and Parts B are your primary coverage.
Right. That is hospitalization, Part A, and Part B is doctors. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you get $100,000 bill, Medicare will step in and pay the first 80%, correct?
80%. And then you go ahead, and after that, you'll go ahead and buy a supplemental. I'm speeding it up because I got another call that I have to jump to. Medicare, you'll get the Medigap for 20%. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is this: so that Medigap 20% coverage that you're missing,
yes,
you can buy that coverage, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay. What's that worth to you?
The 20%.
Yes. What is it to buy insurance coverage?
I don't know where you're driving, but let me jump to Melissa and I'll get back with you. I promise.
What I'm driving at is that's insurance coverage that you can buy, and what is that coverage worth to you to minimize that 20%?
Actually, a lot of doctors don't even require the 20%. They'll bill and forgive the 20%. We'll talk about that another time. Melissa, come on air, my friend. Real quick, Melissa, I only have 30 seconds.
Morning. Good morning. So, good morning, Houston. I just wanted to say, I need somebody to come on talking about this Advantage Care on what's the proper ways to cancel, because every time I call to cancel for I'm an authorized representative for some elders, every time I call to cancel, they hang up in my face.
I will go ahead and make sure and find that out for you, Melissa. I promise you that, and then I'll get back with you on the show.
Okay.
Thank you.
I donated.
Thank you, girl. Love you so much. Love you. Melissa just gave. Thank you so kindly, Melissa. And Agustin, Augie just gave. Thank you so kindly. You guys are wonderful. My name is, beforehand, real quick, let's go to Brother Jack to give a closer.
Well, it's Medicare. Take advantage of you. I just got my Medicare and I just got A and B. Can't really afford to use it, but it's there.
Well, look, thank you so kind. Actually, real quickly, you can use it. The only thing is the 20% that's not paid. Many doctors will forgive that. Thank you so kindly. Anyway, folks, we got to get out of here. I want to thank Melissa for her kind contribution. I want to thank Augie for the fine contribution as well. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.